is Anfield Agenda time. Craig is set for the day and the news. Sit back and relax, grab a coffee and chill, and enjoy the shenanigans tonight. Anfield Agenda. Anfield Agenda. YNWA. Anfield Agenda. Time for Craig to tell it straight. Watch-alongs to fill your day. Make to subscribe and stay. Up the Reds, up the Reds. Oh, oh, ooh. Oh, oh, ooh. Oh, oh, ooh. Oh. Anfield Agenda. Anfield Agenda. YNWA. Anfield Agenda. Time for Craig to tell it straight. Watch-alongs to fill your day. Make to subscribe and stay. Up the Reds, up the Reds. Oh, oh, ooh. Oh, oh, ooh. Oh, oh, ooh. Oh, 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 Anfield Agenda.
What is up, my friends? How are we? Your weekend has officially started and you are very welcome along to Friday night's Late Night Agenda. As always, we have lots to discuss tonight. We're going to be speaking about Liverpool's pursuit of Florian Wirtz, potentially Rodrigo. We're going to be asking, is Jarell Quansah really going to be sold? What's going on with Ibrahima Kanade? And Adam Wharton's name has come into the mix as well. So we have lots to get through. Of course, there's a couple of games on at the moment as well. United taking on Chelsea and Aston Villa against, who was it they're playing against again? Aston Villa against Spurs. I think it's just gone 1-0 to Villa according to the chat as well. So, ladies and gents, how are we? I hope you've got a lovely weekend planned. I'm definitely taking tomorrow night off, so I won't see you till Sunday after tonight. But let's settle in and have a bit of fun. So, a lot to go through today. Where to start? Let's start off with actually some comments from Paddy Pimblett on the Trent Alexander-Arnold situation. I don't know if you guys seen this interview with Paddy. He was speaking about the situation and he thinks that Trent shouldn't be at the trophy parade as he will bring the mood down. I have to say, I am of a similar mindset, although I do think it's fully Trent's decision to make. But for me on this one, I don't know if Liverpool are going to let him leave early. It looks like they aren't, according to reports from Marca at the minute. But for me, it would be just, an ideal scenario if Trent was just leave now and head off to Madrid and get ready. But I do agree with Paddy Pimblett. It's one of those weird situations where I do see both sides of it. Yes, of course, Trent has the right to celebrate with his teammates. Mohamed Salah came out today as well, speaking about the Trent situation. But fans always have to be respected in these things as well. So I'm definitely in the camp of Paddy Pimblett on this one. But let me know what you guys think on it. He certainly hasn't been backwards about coming forwards, Paddy, on this. And I've respected his honesty, to be honest with it. I really have. So we've also got a few leaked shirts as well that have come to our attention. That white Liverpool shirt that we've been talking about looks like it could very well be the away shirt for next season. I have it in my images and I'll bring it up for you guys in a little while. So let's remind me to do that, by the way, because I will forget. But the white Liverpool away shirt for next season looks like it is the one that we expected. Craig, since Huijsen's no longer available, who should our centre-back target be? It's a really good question to kick us off tonight. I can tie it into a couple of things. So I'll answer your question, but I'll also pose a few questions if you don't mind. So Fabrizio Romano has been speaking about Jarell Quansah and his future at Liverpool and what's possible. And he said it's a possibility for Kwanzaa to leave Liverpool. There are many clubs interested, Newcastle for sure. Also, Bundesliga clubs are tracking the player and they believe he has big potential. This is such a weird situation because I agree that there are clubs interested, but I don't see as much of the potential as maybe others do on this one. I'm very grateful it isn't my decision to make because honestly, I'd be selling Kwanzaa, and it does look like to me he may be sold. But I wonder, to get back to your point, is it going to wait and see what happens with Canade? Because that is a worrying situation at the minute, and Madrid mouthpieces have been speaking about that situation, and we'll move on to that in a while. But yeah, we look like we are losing Hoyson, by the way, to Real Madrid. That one looks like it's going to happen. So then, as you've rightly said, mate, question is, who do we bring in? I would say, as things stand, with the team that we have, with the options that we have, one centre-back would suffice. But if we were to lose any of them, whether that's Ibrahima Konate or Jarell Kwanzaa, I would say we need to add in another one. So that's going to be a very interesting situation for the transfer window. With regard to the plan B on Hoyson, I've no doubt that the club have one. Is it going to be the kid that we spoke about, Araujo from Barcelona? Is it going to be somebody who we haven't spoken about before? At this point, I'm just getting more and more concerned about Konate by the day, to be honest with you. I've not really seen much positivity or much talk of advancement in those communications. I will talk you through a little bit more in a while, but let me just get this up before I forget. Tickle My Teabag, one of my favourite account names, by the way, my man, said, nearly 2 years since I found this amazing channel. Much love to you, mate. You're a legend. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you being with us for 2 years as well. Let's talk Jarell Haddo, because we're continuing to talk about centre-back options. Fabrizio Romano has said that Liverpool want to add one more centre-back to their squad, and another player they like is Jarell Haddo. But he also went on to say in previous conversations that it would be a difficult enough deal to get done with Ajax because, well, I don't think they want to lose him. So I don't know if Haddo's ready or not. That's the one thing that I would say. And I mean that from the perspective of I've not watched enough of him. Like if I sat here and told you I've been watching Ajax this season, I'd be an absolute liar. So really unsure what's happening there. It looks like we can draw a line under the Dean Huijsen dream. That one's gone. But it looks like Real Madrid aren't finished with their shenanigans, by the way, because tonight, a couple of bits of news breaking. One, something we told you last night, that they're looking at Milos Kerkez, although he is their second choice at left back. Also, £45 million now looks to be the price tag the Bournemouth are asking for Milos Kerkez, and we will bring you that story now, actually, while we're talking about it. Let me just scroll up till I get my news. Right, where's the Kerkez story? Yeah, 45 million is the asking price for Milos Kerkez, according to some sources in the newspaper, I believe. And also, it looks like Real Madrid are moving in and considering a move for Florian Wirtz. Now, this may depend on them having to sell Rodrygo. So, if Liverpool have a chance to move quickly in this one, I think we should. I think Madrid do need to free up some money, but I would hope that the Wirtz situation is sorted sooner rather than later. It's a difficult one to get a read on, the whole Florian Wirtz thing, because even the German journalists seem to be going back and forth on this one. 1 minute, City are out of the race. The next minute, they're back in the race. Then 1 minute, it's definitely going to be Bayern Munich. Then the next minute, Bayern Munich aren't sure about it. I don't know where we are on it. You're seeing the same things that I'm seeing with regards to Liverpool are ready to pounce, Liverpool are blah-de-blah. But here's my question. We had plans going into the summer transfer window, right? We spent the season building up our plans. Why are we now hearing things again like Liverpool are waiting to see? Liverpool are being opportunistic. Surely we should have our plans ready to go for X, Y, and Z and go and get them done. We don't want a summer where we're waiting around or where we're playing second fiddle if somebody doesn't want to go somewhere else. For me, and I know this is a very fan-centric point of view, but I don't want anybody that doesn't want to come to Liverpool Football Club. And I don't want anybody who isn't chomping at the bit to come and play for Liverpool Football Club. So, for instance, if I was Kerkez at the minute and I was hearing that I was second on Real Madrid's wish list behind the kid from Benfica, that would be the end of any thoughts of me going there. Because I don't want to be anyone's second choice. And I don't want Liverpool to be anyone's second choice either. So I'm hopeful that we get some business done. But I'm not making this up today. Real Madrid have been linked with Stiller, who we're linked with today. Real Madrid have been linked with WIRTZ, who we're linked with. Real Madrid have been linked with Kirkes. And then there's the situation with Ibrahima Konate as well, which I'll go through in a couple of moments. Right, I think there was... Oh, Danielle, Jewel, welcome to Anfield Agenda Ultras, Danielle. Thank you for being with us. Right, let's get to Konate. So, Fabrizio Romano, speaking about Konate, said this. Real Madrid still believe that in the next year or two, they need to make at least one more defensive signing. And there is interest in Ibrahima Konate. No agreement on a new deal. It was quite close in October, November time. Then new problems arrived in terms of conversations and conditions changed. Now, what were those conditions and what changed? Well, we'll discuss that in 65 quick seconds because as you can see, we are being brought to you tonight with thanks to our incredible sponsor, Surfshark. And I'll get this one out of the way nice and early and then we'll be back together and we'll go through the next 90 minutes non-stop. Bear with me and we'll have a word from our sponsor. This video is sponsored by Surfshark, the best VPN on the market. Surfshark is an app or browser extension that allows you to change your location to access websites in other countries and keep you safe from hackers. For example, we here in Ireland can access other countries' Netflix libraries, streaming services such as DAZN in Spain for those all-important Premier League games. Surfshark keeps you safe and private by protecting everything you do online. When your device connects to the internet, all that information is, in a way, blurred out. Surfshark is particularly useful for keeping you safe if you use public Wi-Fi, such as a college or a cafe. Surfshark allows you to use one subscription on unlimited devices, meaning that you can even share an account with friends and family. On top of this, Surfshark offers a 30-day money-back guarantee, so if you don't like it, you can even get your money back. Our sign-up offer gives you Surfshark VPN for just over €2 per month and up to 4 months free. Why not scan the QR code on screen or use the link in the description to take advantage of this offer. Right, friends, as promised, we are back and let's get straight into the Konate story. Also, Dave, thank you. I did see your post about the volume being a little bit low on the advert. I'll get Connor to have a look into that one. Thank you for the update. Right, let's talk. At Anfield, they're experiencing a very strange feeling following the Frenchman Konate's refusal to sign his new contract. They're starting to detect ghosts very similar to those felt just a year ago when Trent Alexander-Arnold began to reject offers. So that's where we are with that one. It will be back, by the way. If you can hear me, it froze for a second. This is a YouTube issue, by the way, not a Craig internet issue. It's very frustrating to us, and I do apologise, but it will be back. It lagged for a second, but it's not an internet thing because, as I've mentioned before, I'm hardwired into the Ethernet and the speeds are really good. So this, unfortunately for me, is a YouTube thing for a second, folks. Just refresh it and we'll be back. If you need me to read back over that bit there from Konate, please just ask and I'd be happy to do it for you. Again, my sincere apologies over the delays. Stevie boy, I haven't forgotten about your super chat either, my man. I will get back and reread that Madrid story just in case anybody missed it when the buffering came in, and my apologies. Stevie boy said Liverpool need to sell Konate. Can't go into next season knowing his contract ends. It will cause problems. 100%. 100%, bro. I agree with you every step of the way. I'm going to come on the legend to your super chat in a minute, mate, but I want to just read back over what I said there about Konate in case people missed it while it was buffering. So this piece from a Madrid-based journalist said the truth is that Liverpool's management is upset. The doubt arises because of what could happen in the future. At Anfield, they're experiencing a very strange feeling following Frenchman Konate's refusal to renew his contract. They've started to detect ghosts very similar to those felt just a year ago when Trent began to reject offers. Now, I've got to be very clear on this. I love Konate. I hope he wants to stay. But much like any other player, if there is any doubts, if he is playing silly beggars or isn't coming to the table to talk about renewals, gotta sell. Gotta sell and gotta play hardball. And what I mean by hardball is you can't let him run down his deal. You can't let them say, well, we'll move on for free in a year. You've got to start using the leverage of the World Cup being around the corner to say, well, we're going to stand firm on this. We've been hurt by what happened with Trent, and if you don't want to extend with us, then the club are going to have to sell you. And if you want to run down your contract, well then best of luck getting picked for the World Cup, because you'll be training with the 21s for the rest of the year. That sounds really snidey, but it has to happen. It just has to. Liverpool have to draw a line under this whole situation with Trent and not let it happen again. So if Canade wants to stay, every Liverpool fan on the planet will welcome Ibu to stay and will be delighted with Ibrahima Canade staying. But if he's trying to get to this situation where it's running down the contract or listening to other offers, then it's time to sell and move on. And nobody is bigger than our football club. Nobody. And nobody should be convinced of needing or wanting to be here. Canade has formed one of the best centre-back partnerships in Europe alongside Virgil van Dijk. And yes, he may want a pay rise, and that's fair enough. But nobody should be holding the club to ransom. Nobody. And again, I don't know the situation, but reading between the lines of what Romano's saying and what others are saying, something has changed. And whatever that something is, we need to resolve it quickly. The legend said, what new players coming in next season do you think will have the most impact on the Prem? Not just in Liverpool squad, but Arsenal, City, etc. Who wins the race for WIRTZ is going to be really important. If he comes to the Premier League, I think if he went to Liverpool or City, it could be a decisive thing in the title race. Sincerely, I mean that. If Arsenal get the right number 9, that could be decisive in the title race. There is a lot to be discovered. And also, if, let's say, Chelsea miss out in Champions League, I'm very interested to see what happens there. So on Canade, folks, genuinely, I'm worried about it. Seriously worried about it at this point. Because there's been no movement on it. No positive vibes whatsoever. And again, we get from the position where Joyce, Romano and many others said it was very close to nothing happening. And Liverpool need to get this one sorted ASAP. Mahmood, thank you, my man. Appreciate you. Right, more stuff to go through. Manchester City, by the way, are looking at Dani Olmo as a potential alternative if they lose the game of poker for Florian Wirtz. So I'm struggling to get a read on it. Let me give you a refresher of all the Wirtz stuff that we've seen today. So Christian Falk started off saying, as things stand, Liverpool are further ahead than Manchester City in the Florian Wirtz race, but Bayern remain optimistic. Then we had Manchester City and Dani Olmo are also hot from Christian Falk. Pep Guardiola's club are prepared to leave the game of poker against Bayern and Liverpool for Wirtz. Moving on then, we had Ian Doyle of the Echo saying, well, the expectation is that Wirtz remains in Germany, either by staying at Leverkusen or making the switch to Bayern Munich. Arne Slot wants to make a significant play for the £125 million rated German international. Now, significant play isn't good enough. We need to make sure that we go and get him if there's any chance of it. I believe Leverkusen have told him they want an answer by next week as to what's going to happen with his future. So he's going to have to give them an answer, and I think he will move away from Leverkusen. But will he stay at Bayern Munich, or will he stay in Germany with Bayern Munich or not? Truth is, I don't know, but I don't want us to be looking silly on it. So we need to be decisive as well. If a player needs to be convinced to come to Liverpool, again, for me, as a fan, that's not what I want to hear. I want a player to look at the project, look at the Premier League winners and think, yes, we can achieve a lot there. And imagine him in there, tucked in behind with Mohamed Salah on the right, maybe Diaz on the left, maybe a central striker brought in as well. Be happy days. But there's more stuff. Let's keep going. Arne Slot's answer from the press conference, by the way, about working on transfers is one of my favourite replies. Yeah, he said, did you not see the videos of me this week? So he certainly wasn't knuckling down to work on transfers. Fabrizio Romano's update was that nothing is decided for Florian Wirtz. Nothing at all. Bayern remain convinced that they're clear favourites. Liverpool had contact with people close to Wirtz. Liverpool want to be informed on the situation, and it depends on how it evolves on the player side. Matt Thielen, though, put up a very interesting post. And Matt writes, Liverpool officials are starting to believe that they have a real chance at convincing Florian Wirtz to join. The big three of Virgil, Salah and McAllister are all expected to play a role in the process. On top of that, there are some reports as well to suggest that Liverpool have Rodrigo as a possible alternative. Now, I'm not sure at what stage we can say those are valid reports or not. I really don't know as of yet. I don't know if Liverpool's name has been used to try and drum up interest in Rodrigo. But there's also been talk that Real Madrid would look for WIRTZ if Rodrigo moves on. So your take on that one. I'm going to give you a very, 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 very strange shout from Glenn Johnson in a while as to who Liverpool should sign at left back. It's not going to be somebody you're thinking of. Acentino, thank you, bro, for gifting 5 memberships to people as well. Just noticed that. Thank you, my man. LFC Josh said, when do you think we'll see Frimpong be announced? It depends what you mean by announced. So are you talking about a here we go? Because I think you could get that within 24, 48 hours. It's pretty much done at this point, from what I can understand. We'll wait for the official line from the club or the official line from a journalist. But for me, barring an absolute catastrophe, it's done. So I would say you may hear it by the end of the weekend. But again, it looks like it's pretty much close. Liverpool have moved swiftly on this one, and I don't think there's going to be any hiccups like that Barcelona link or anything like that. Acentino said, do you think there's any chance that Mo plays in the 9 as he gets older? Who would you get to play the right side? So we've discussed this option quite a bit, and I think as fans we're more than open to the idea of Mohamed Salah being moved centrally. But we've not yet seen that from Arne Slot. And who would you get to play the right-hand side? Well, if you bring in Frimpong, there's an option. Obviously, we've got young Rio coming through. Does he operate left, right? There's a lot of stuff that's up in the air that may depend on players moving on. But again, we haven't seen any indication that the manager will play Mohamed Salah centrally. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. Should we talk about something potentially really exciting? Now, I would say pinch of salt stuff this, but for me it's a very exciting link and somebody that I would love to see at Liverpool Football Club. So this piece here from the Mail said, Liverpool are monitoring the situation around Adam Wharton's future as Arne Slot looks to strengthen his midfield. They say Wharton 21 is impressed since joining Crystal Palace from Blackburn last January, and they say that £60 million is the price tag on his head, which is about 3 times more than they paid from Blackburn 18 months ago. So Adam Wharton, lads, what are we saying? It would be a very impressive signing, but would that stand in the way of a Bajcetic? Would that stand in the way of a McConnell or somebody like that? Truth is, I don't know. I've always been led to believe that Manchester City were more interested in Wharton, but that was before they made the signing of the guy that they brought in as a Rodri backup. So exciting stuff, but it's weird because it feels like we're being linked with players in positions that aren't really a priority for us at the minute. So midfield wouldn't be in your top 3 probably if we're sitting here talking about it, at least from a defensive standpoint. We'd probably be talking about left back, right back, centre forward. So I don't know again how serious our interest is there. Frimpong was a layup of a signing, easy to do. Yeah, exactly. So you've got the release clause, you know it can be paid in installments. You've got a fee that's very, very reasonable. You've got somebody who's 24 years of age, who counts as homegrown, who has experience on the international stage with club and country. Absolutely. It feels like a very understandable signing, even allowing that Conor Bradley's still there. I think it will give Arne lots more options. And as much as I wasn't really all for it in the last few months, I think when I finally found out that Trent was definitely going and that Bradley was going to be kept around, I got excited about it. And I said to Conor earlier on today, I'm far more excited about Frimpong than I thought I would be. And I don't know if it's because he seems like a really good character, if he gets on well with the lads, obviously, from the Dutch camp, if he gives us more pace and another exciting option, because some conversations we've had, we've all said if we lacked a bit of pace, and he's certainly going to give us an option in that regard. It'll be very interesting to see if he develops these underlapping runs, because, you know, more so on the outside is what we're used to seeing with him, whether he plays as a winger or as he plays as a wing back at Leverkusen. But yeah, it's exciting. I really am thinking that, as our friend said a minute ago, it's a layup of a signing. The legend said, ordered the new Arsenal home kit. My nan's got one as an anniversary present from my granddad. That's so sweet. I like your new kits. Curious to know what you'll get first. Well, if I could pick one, it would be the green one. And I seen your kit for this season just earlier on, actually. It looks like just a pared back version of the one that you had, minus the gold. This is what we believe, by the way, will be the Liverpool away shirt for next season. We believe that that's what it looks like. Now, I'm trying to figure out if it's the lighting that shows different colours. Because if you look at the Adidas stripes on both arms, one looks to be a lighter shade that matches the crest, and the other one with the Adidas logo seems to be a darker shade. But I don't know if that's because of the lighting or not. And I also don't like it. It reminds me too much of a Manchester United shirt. So I won't be buying that one. But let me know what you guys think of it. I think the black piping, it reminds me of a shirt we had previously. A shirt that I think of Gerrard and Torres in. But that for me would be a pass. I'm more interested in the red and the green one. By the way, that's such a sweet story about your grandmother buying your granddad and the jersey as an anniversary present. Oh man, thank you for sharing. Mahmood, how are you, sir? Is it reaching to think that Slot is Klopp's Paisley? No, it's not at all. We've got early doors, a league title, so that's that out the window, and we don't need to worry about the stress of that on Arna. But this has just been a masterstroke by the club, in all fairness. And you often hear me criticise for things I think they've done wrong. But in this regard, we cannot be anything other than delighted with what we've done. Premier League title in season number 1, and now a big summer ahead of us. It is genuinely really exciting times, Mohammed, and I think your comparison isn't one that people won't think, you know what, dude might be right there. I think there could be something to it, but of course, time will tell. Stevie Boy says, should I be worried with all this monitoring not where interested? This sounds familiar. Again, it feels like you and me, mate, have a similar thought process, and it concerns me for a couple of reasons. One, like you've said, familiarity, and we've heard this before. But two, I don't want it to throw off the plans, because we've known that Liverpool have apparently been interested in WIRTZ for a while. And we've known that Liverpool are always willing to move for opportunistic signings if the market makes them available. But again, what about the plans? What about what we've been doing over the last year to prepare for this window? So Arne Slot said something earlier on that I found very interesting in his press conference. He was asked about fringe players and will these last couple of games be the thing that saves their career or not at Liverpool? And he said, no, I've made my mind up 10 or 11 months ago. So he seems very steadfast in the players that he thinks he wants to move on. We don't know who those players are, but Arne seems to think that he's made his mind up. So let's hope it's a definitive window, Stevie Boy. And as you said, we're not hanging around waiting to see what happens. Victor said, hey Craig, this will be a long transfer window. It will. And it hasn't even opened yet. And I'm already feeling some exhaustion from it, my man. So yeah, not a bad shout whatsoever. SDO said, just say Frimpong, WIRTZ, Kirkes and a goal scorer arrive. Who are the departures, and can we retain the Prem for number 21? Well, in that scenario, Frimpong, nobody departs in there because, of course, we know that's for Trent. If WIRTZ comes in, I would imagine you're talking a Harvey Elliott departure in that scenario. Kirkes, it looks like Costas and Leeds have been mentioned with a double swoop for Costas and Kelleher. But again, not saying that's nailed on. Who else was on your list? And a goal scorer. I wonder if we were to sign for WIRTZ, or if we signed WIRTZ, would we go for a goal scorer? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like if Liverpool went and spent 125 million on Florian WIRTZ, even recouping Darwin money, let's say, and that brought you in 50. Do I think we then go out and drop 80 or 90 million quid on a striker? No. So I'm confused by it all. Has that put the plan out the window? Or are Liverpool going to look at a situation where, and I'm just throwing a name around for argument's sake here, let's say Benjamin Sesko was the one that we had always planned to go for. Well, does that mean that we're going to pause on that while we wait and see what happens with WIRTZ? These are the things that worry me, and I think Stevie Boy there as well. Are the developments around Rodrigo and WIRTZ, are they things that are going to stall Liverpool's summer transfer plans, or are we going to get moving quickly? You know, I think fans are once bitten, twice shy on these things, and we have heard a lot of these phrases before, that Liverpool will be willing to act if Liverpool are monitoring the situation, and yeah, we've heard them before. Let's talk about Angelo Stiller for a little minute. So Madrid Extra said, confirmed, Angelo Stiller is one of the midfielders that Real Madrid are interested in. He would cost around 40 million euro. That's another name that Liverpool have been linked with in the past as well. And I thought a far more realistic one of 40 million quid or 35 million pound. Felt like that one was more realistic. Then we had Florian Plettenberg saying that Real Madrid could join the race for Florian Wirtz. It's just, somebody said in the chat earlier on, and I noticed it and I meant to come back to it. They said that it feels like Real Madrid have bugged Michael Edwards' office. Definitely feels like that, doesn't it? It used to be us and Spurs going for the same players. Now it seems like Madrid are just intent on pissing all over our cornflakes. Lance said, does Wirtz take Dom out of the starting 11? Again, it's an impossible question to answer, because let's say one of them plays as a false 9, then no. Then they could both be in the starting 11. You could have a midfield that looks something like Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, with Wirtz as a false 9. What I'd be very interested to know is, actually, I'm going to just put it straight to a poll, because it's easier than me asking you and then trying to read through them all. 1 second. Okay. Right, so what we're going to ask is, if we lose out on Wirtz, and look, for what it's worth, I think the only way we lose out is if he stays in Germany. I think if he decides to come to England, we're in with a very, very good show. But the question I'm going to ask is, if we miss out on Florian Wirtz, should we move for Rodrigo? So I'll leave that running in the background for a little bit, and you guys can vote away on it. And I want to know, as I said, if we missed out on Florian Wirtz, do you think Liverpool should move for Rodrigo, or should we just stick with whatever the plan was going into the window and look to get the players in quick, smart? Luke Belton said, can't help but feel we need to stop all the Wirtz talk. Can't really see us getting them. Well, every journalist, even the Echo lads, let's just say, who I would say are very, what's the phrase I could use here? Cautious. Let's go with that one. They're saying that Liverpool are there and Liverpool are ready to move strong if Wirtz decides that he doesn't want to stay in Germany. So it seems like the interest and the willingness of Liverpool is genuine, but let me play the cynic here. Let me put my Stevie Boy hat on for a minute. Is this basically Liverpool knowing that he's not going to come over? And are we in a similar situation here where, you know, let's just feed the fan base this to know if he does not want to come to Germany, then we'll be here thinking he fully goes to Germany, because we heard all those same lines around Lenny Yoro and then we didn't move on him. It was always, if Yoro doesn't go to Real Madrid as expected, then Liverpool will be in the mix and ready to move. He didn't go to Real Madrid, and did we make a move for him? No. We just jumped on and said, he's not worth the money. So I understand the cautiousness around it. I understand the cynical thought process around it, because I'm the very same. I'll believe it when I see it, and also eyes on the prize this window. No deferring from whatever the plan is. Because remember, they had a year to make sure that this window was ready to go. Heavy Metal D said, so how many people are becoming Palace fans this weekend? I won't even lie to you, mate. I didn't even know the FA Cup final was tomorrow until I was flicking through live score earlier on. Hadn't even got a clue. That's how little I give a shit about the FA Cup. So look, I don't think there's any world where Palace win it, but yes, of course, I want Crystal Palace to win it, but I don't think they will. Kyle said, I'm a yes for Rodrigo, but only if we get him for a deal. Otherwise, we look elsewhere. I would rather just stick clear of Madrid altogether, to be honest with you. I think somebody said that in the chat. I'd rather not do business with that club. I'm probably the same. I like Rodrygo as a footballer, but I don't want to be at the behest of Madrid again in a potential negotiation. So for me, I would say no on the Rodrygo thing. If we don't get WIRTZ, fair enough. But yeah, I would say no for me. SDO said, Rodrygo isn't for me. 100 plus million and 300 grand a week. Why not go for somebody like Isak or Julian Alvarez for that money? Salah isn't moving positions from right wing. So I agree. If we had £100 million to play around with, I'd be throwing that down at Atletico Madrid's table and saying, can we have Julian Alvarez, please, and thank you. And also, would you like Darwin Núñez as part of that potential deal? And I've loved that idea. It's gone a little bit quiet in those conversations. It was mentioned quite a bit previously, but I agree with you, my friend. And I also agree with the gentleman a minute ago saying I don't want to be giving Madrid money or doing business with them. So, yeah, that's... yeah, I can get on board with that shithousery. Sean Handley said, the decisive factor in whether Liverpool will pay the money for Florian Wirtz comes down to whether Wirtz is the man they see for years to come. Because we do pay the big bucks when it's the number one target. I think that's fair. I think he is the man, by the way. I think he is going to be a star, like an absolute star in world football. So he's worth putting all your eggs in the basket for. But my worry is that it costs us other targets if we were hanging around. So I hope we get a decisive answer on this in the next week. And we know if he wants to play for Bayern, if he wants to stay at Leverkusen, or if he wants to come to the Prem. And if he comes to the Prem, then it gets very interesting. Stephen said, Craig, remember when I asked your thoughts on Frimpong speaking in a Scouse accent back in March? I knew we'd sign him. The creativity he brings is exciting. So I only watched that video again the other day, actually, and the accent's bang on, isn't it? But what excited me more than the accent in the video was the friendliness at which he was received by his teammates, the body language of everybody else about him. They were genuinely happy to see him, and he feels like he'd be a good character in and around the club. So, as I said, I wasn't initially won over by the idea of it, but the more it looks likely, the more excited I'm getting about the prospect of him in a Liverpool shirt. And of course, with the Dutch contingent we have at the club, a manager that knows him well. He was 9 years in the City Academy, so he'd have a fair idea of the Prem and what it's going to entail. And mostly, he's also homegrown, and that'll help us massively. Eli Wood said, Madrid take Trent for free, then we give them another 70 million for a reject. No thanks. Exactly. I totally get that thought process, mate. I do. On Paddy Pimblett speaking about Trent, he also said that he'd heard that Trent was learning Spanish for 18 months. Yeah, it stings. And I think the one thing I agree with about the whole Canade situation is I can see a world where Liverpool probably feel really annoyed by this. If for some reason him and his agent have stonewalled negotiations, I can understand that Liverpool would feel not again. Not again after the Trent situation. Now, of course, it's very difficult to speak on this because I don't like to speak and don't want to speak in any way negatively about Canade because I really like the guy and I'm really happy that he's a Liverpool player. But I'm not having Liverpool be second best for anyone. It should be a very easy decision to want to stay here. You've just won the league. You have a great chance to go and try and back that up by winning a Champions League or back up the league title by retaining it. Why would you want to leave? And that worries me because, again, he does look like he may want to leave, or at least he's having second thoughts about committing his future to the club. The legend said, me and mum's fiance have a replica Premier League trophy and keep it in either our rooms for the season, depending on who wins. 21 years since it was mine, 12 years his. I have a full-size Premier League trophy replica as well that I'm bringing across to to these shows. So if anybody's coming, you're going to get a chance to have a little photo with the Premier League trophy. And of course, we're going to give away a few mini ones as well. Tanya said that Frimpong video was when Trent Alexander-Arnold told Liverpool he was leaving in March, apparently. Interesting. What score is the Villa game, by the way, if you guys can keep me up to date with that one, or it must be over now, actually. What was the final score in the Villa game? Mark said, my money is on we'll crap the bed on WIRTZ. Look, again, if you ask me, do I think we sign Florian WIRTZ, I'm still saying no. Because I just don't believe we'll do it. You know, I want us to do it, and I would take him in a heartbeat, but I still don't feel too optimistic on it. You know, as Stevie Boy said and others have said, we've been there, done it, and never end up with the player. So the last big win we had in this kind of regard was Virgil, when we knew there was a load of clubs competing for him. And I'd love it to happen again, but I just don't think WIRTZ maybe would have the same appetite or love. But you never know. He did come to Anfield, get beaten 4-0 with Leverkusen. Will have felt the power of Anfield. Hopefully that stuck in his mind, and also had a chance to train at the AXA with Leverkusen the next day. Leon Sampson said, I thought you were having a day off. I was, mate, but you know me. I always want to come on and chat with everybody, and as I sit here throughout the day and stories come in, you know, the content creator in me kicks in and I want to come on and chat with everybody. So yeah, can I give you a shameless plug for a minute? Because I don't often do this, to be fair. I don't know if this is a good idea or a bad idea, or if it is, whatever it is. But I did finally decide to join the world of Cameo. So if ever you want a little video made for anything, you want me to break up with your partner for you, propose to your partner for you, quit your job for you, call somebody a see you next Tuesday, check me out on Cameo. And yeah, again, you know, why not? Shameless self-plugging. I don't do enough of it, really. But this was one of those things where I just thought, why not? You know, it's not going to harm anybody. And if somebody wants to have a bit of fun with something, I'm always up for a laugh. So the link is in the description of this, or you can just search on there. But again, apologies, I don't usually plug shit like that. But I just thought this time, why not? Why not? We'll have a bit of fun. Right, what about Xavi Simons? So his name's certainly been mentioned. He's definitely available this summer. But to be honest with you, I just don't want him. And I don't know if it's just me. And I'm going to ask that actually in the next poll question. So bear with me. So we've nearly got 1,000 votes on the Rodrigo thing. So if the last 50 or so people could throw a vote in on that one, we can move on to the Xavi Simons question. So let's check in on this. We're nearly there. We need about 48, 49 more votes. SDO said, you've got to be careful as well, Craig. We could end up with 120 million Enzo Fernandez. We need to stick to our plan. To be fair, Enzo Fernandez is a good footballer. But WIRTZ, look, I think WIRTZ is the real deal, personally. But if WIRTZ didn't work out, I wouldn't be looking to then go and find somebody of a similar ilk. I would look to stick to whatever the game plan was. Right, so if we lose out on WIRTZ, shall we move for Rodrigo? 63% of people say yes, we should move for Rodrigo if we lose out on WIRTZ. I would be in the no camp for the shithouse reasons we've spoken about previously. I don't want to be greasing Real Madrid's palms with money. Right, let's get the next one up. So, would you take Xavi Simons at Liverpool? We'll check in on this one in a while. But again, folks, please do vote away. And again, thank you for your support. Right, let's get on to some more news. Let's move a bit forward here. So, Marca are reporting that Liverpool are not, are not allowing Trent to join Real Madrid in time for the Club World Cup. What do we think on this one? Good idea? Bad idea? Should we cut our ties now and say, off you pop, but you go now? Should we push for a fee? Or should Liverpool just hold firm and say, no, you will get him when Liverpool and his contract is over? Again, I'm not going to tell anyone how to feel on this. I think there are understandable feelings on all sides of it. I would be very much in the will you made your bed lie in it camp. So if you want to go to Madrid, off you pop right now, but it is right now. That would be my take on it, but that probably sounds very salty, which I understand. I'm wrong. Said my money is on Cherky. Not till I am a Cherky fanboy. Look, his name's in the mix, 100%. It just feels weird on Cherky. Oh, also, can we talk about something for a second? I'm not yet seeing the barrage of fume about a former Chelsea boy in Mason Mount being booed at Stamford Bridge. Where's all the furore about this? Why isn't Rio Ferdinand and everybody else jumping on and throwing their toys out of the pram about it? Why isn't everybody and their grandmother talking about it like they did about Trent? And he got 60 million or so for Chelsea. And he's getting booed and nobody gives a fuck. But Trent gets booed for leaving his boyhood club for free, and all of a sudden everybody and their mother has an opinion on it. Bit of a different story there, isn't it? When Mount goes back to Stamford Bridge and gets booed and he got them a load of dough. Nothing to be said there though, folks, huh? Again, different story. Liverpool held to a different standard, and hypocrisy yet again in the media. And United paid a fee for Mount. Exactly. United paid about, what, 60 million quid for Mount, and Chelsea fans are still booing him. Grealish got 100 million quid for Villa, gets booed. But when Trent leaves his hometown club for nothing, we all get told we're bad people if we dare say anything negative about it. I'm done with it. It's just hypocrisy again. Asantino said, Cherky to Liverpool sounds like the kind of signing that might shock the league. The guy is good. It just feels so weird, doesn't it? And this is where I'm going to admit to being a price snob. I'll admit it openly. If Cherky was being spoken about at 70 million quid, I'd probably be far more excited about it. Something in that price tag, with the kind of baggage that comes along with him maybe, has me concerned. And his name is mentioned quite a bit. I have a bit to talk about tonight with him, but I got to admit I'm a bit of a snob on it. Is it a real bargain, or is it going to be another Chiesa type signing where doesn't work, doesn't fit in, and we don't really know what happens? Yes, but Mason is not a Chelsea boy. Well, he is. He was at that academy and came up since he was a kid. So he is a Chelsea boy and has been there. I don't know if he didn't support Chelsea, but he came up, played for Chelsea since youth age, I think, didn't he? Came through the system and then boo. Akshay said, hey Craig, I'm from India. It's almost 3 a.m. here. Stay awake for your show all the time and only for the club. You'll never walk alone. I feel we should sign a centre-back too. Absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. If not 2 centre-backs, my man. My dream scenario is Canade stays and we sell Kwanzaa and we bring in a centre-back, and Gomez stays as well. But you could make a valid argument that right now we need a centre-back before we lose one. So if we were to lose another centre-back, then we probably need 2, which is maybe why Jarell Hatter would be interesting. Right, let's keep going. Interesting story or quote from Romano that said Virgil van Dijk received a really big proposal from Saudi Arabia around December time. It was not the same numbers as Mohamed Salah, but close to it, but he only wanted to continue at Liverpool. Doesn't that sound good? Doesn't that read well? That he received a huge offer from Saudi, but he only wanted to stay at Liverpool. It was always Liverpool. Our captain. That genuinely means a lot to hear that. Right, so the newspaper have said, despite talks between Liverpool and Bournemouth in recent weeks, Liverpool are yet to table a firm offer for Milos Kerkez, also considering Jarell Haddo, who would be available for less. And Kerkez is valued at £45 million by Bournemouth. This is one of those we best get the finger out and move quickly on, because he is, in my opinion, without a shadow of a doubt, the best fit for the left-back spot, bar none. It just works. It feels like he was made in a lab to play in Liverpool's system. So for me, I want Milos Kerkez above anybody else at left back, and I won't lie, even if it is Haddo or anybody like Aït-Nouri, it's going to feel like a bit of a disappointment to me, because I'm all in on Kerkez coming to Liverpool. What's this? The price of a commodity or service being higher always makes people think it's better quality. It happens in every industry, and especially my industry, the tattoo game. So yeah, it's a good show, Leon, and definitely is something to having something that feels more prized or valuable. But like you've said, there are also good deals to be had. Andy Robertson, look at what we paid for him, and look at what incredible service he's given to the football club. So I agree with you, my man. But I admit it, being that snob around the Cherokee fee, it is just snobbishness from me. The legend said, my little cousin sent me a video of the pitch invasion he took part in when Charlton won their game, getting to the finals of the playoffs. That's so cute. I hope it's a memorable evening for the young man. And yeah, Charlton against Leyton Orient to play off for a place in the Championship. Stevie Boy said, Craig, deep down, do you think Liverpool get WIRTZ or Rodrigo? Thoughts? I'm a cynic, so no. Look, when I look at these things, mate, there's the head and there's the heart, right? And the heart wants them. Of course it does. But the head says, what has shown you that our club will do this type of deal? Nothing. And that's where I look at it. You can talk about the Caicedo bid, fair enough. You can talk about other stuff that we were linked with. But ultimately, we've only ever paid really big money when we got the Coutinho money and when we took a bit of a punt on Darwin. So Coutinho got us Alisson and Virgil, and we took a punt on Darwin that backfired. So deep down, do I think we get either of them? No. I'm really... I would go as far as to say it'd be WIRTZ or nobody there, because I just don't see Liverpool... I just don't see it, mate. I don't. So what's going on in the Chelsea game? Someone talking about a potential penalty or a penalty. Off the post said, hi mate, why is there a delay with Frimpong? There isn't a delay. There isn't, mate. Just still things being discussed, final details. It's going to happen. I wouldn't be concerned about it, but there's no delay that I'm aware of. Everybody still feels very much like this is going to happen, and it'll happen soon. So yeah, I get where you're coming from though. It's nervy, right, waiting around on it, because news came through so quickly. But you got to talk about the structure of how you pay those, or the release clause. Obviously, there's some talk on wages. You'll have to do the image rights stuff. It's a straightforward deal though. Liverpool have told Leverkusen they're going to trigger it, so I don't see any hiccups to it, to be honest with you. Oh, so it was they overturned the penalty. Nice. So, Carl said, Craig, what's your thoughts on Adidas playing a part in the WIRTZ move? German marquee signing. I remember similar with Nike and the Mbappe rumours. Honestly, never thought of it, Carl. Would love it to be the case. But, again, they've got the Bayern Munich shirts as well. So, either way, it looks like a win-win for them, unless he goes to Manchester City and he's wearing that horrendous looking Puma shirt that Man City have for next season. Have you seen it? It's not a nice shirt whatsoever. I'm a Hull boy and pretty heavy studio in Hull, cheap compared to surrounding cities, so I guess Hull must be cheap and high caliber. There you go, Leon, my man. I'll drop over and get a tattoo off you some point over in Hull. when you get a second, check out the disgraceful dive. I'll check it out later on, my man. Was he booked? If it was that bad a dive, did they book the player? Because I have no idea about the incident, to be honest. Lewis Rayworth said, Hull here too. City is so cheap. Nice. It's nice to hear that. There's not many cities these days that you think there's good value in. Certainly wouldn't be saying it about my hometown of Dublin. It's ridiculously expensive. Right. So Florian Plettenberg said Bayern are preparing their first formal offer to Bayer Leverkusen for Florian Wirtz, which is set to be submitted soon. Bayern remain in close contact with the Wirtz family, and an agreement in principle on salary and contract length is already in place. Bayern bosses remain very confident. So look, I'm not really dreaming about Wirtz, to be honest with you, at this point. I'm just gonna wait and see what happens. If he doesn't go to Bayern, then I'll get excited about it. But at this point, I just feel he's probably going to stay in Germany with Bayern Munich. I think we go for Haddo. He covers centre-back and left-back. He does, but I want an outright left-back. And I want somebody who is like Kirkes. I just want Kirkes. I think Haddo's future will be centrally. I think he will move to the centre-back position as he gets older and develops. I don't think he'll stay at left-back. So for me, I would just say we have Joe Gomez that can cover across the back line. Go get me a bona fide left-back, and that one should be Kirkes. 45 million or 40 million, I mean, it is what it is. You know, if he's the guy that's going to bring us success, then go pay that fee and get the deal done. Because I can't think of anybody better for the position than Kirkes. Sean said, I think we sign Hatto and Kirkes. That would be interesting. It would. I'm more interested, though, to see who we sign as the right-sided centre-back option. Because I truly believe we're going to sell Kwanzaa unless Kanade's situation moves along quickly and we don't have time. But there's certainly interest in Kwanzaa, as we've said before, from the likes of Newcastle. I didn't know about the Bundesliga interest until earlier on today, which was an interesting twist in this story. Where is it again? Where's that one? On this one. It was Fabrizio Romano who said Bundesliga clubs are also tracking Jarell Kwanzaa as they believe he has big potential. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm not sold on Kwanzaa. I just don't think he's the guy. You know, and look, I'm not saying my opinion is the correct one, but I just think not for me. There's just something about him, and I can't put my finger on it, that makes me feel like he's panicky in certain situations. When things are going good, he's very good, but I don't know, there's just something there that doesn't convince me with Kwanzaa. So I promised you I would talk about a left back that Glenn Johnson has said that Liverpool should sign, and somebody that's name has not been mentioned in a single conversation, and nor should it be. But this is what Glenn Johnson has said. Glenn Johnson has urged Liverpool to sign Marc Cucurella instead of Milos Kerkez this summer, as he claimed the Chelsea defender is by far and away the best left back in the Premier League. He neglected to mention that Chelsea, of course, wouldn't want to sell him. Why would they? But I don't know. I can't see it. I've not even heard anybody mention it other than Glenn Johnson, but he's had a few strange takes. But I remember Glenn Johnson saying that Arne Slot, or whoever the next Liverpool manager was going to be, was going to fail. And I called him out on it. I remember it last summer, saying, I hate this attitude of thinking whoever comes in after Klopp is going to automatically fail. And I said that Arne Slot was not the type of character to come in to be a make-way or to be a sacrificial lamb. So he was very wrong on that one. Let's check back in on our poll, where we said, would you take Xavi Simons at Liverpool? We've had 980 odd votes, so we only need a few more. Keep voting away if you get a chance. Once we get to the 1,000 votes, we'll call it. And again, thank you to everyone who's taken the time to vote. I really do appreciate it. Can I just say, Yeah, I'm going to say it. It's going to make me look bad, but I don't care. I'm going to say it. I sat here last night with my wife and I cried, but in a happy way. We've gone to nearly 10 million views in the last month, and I don't fully know how to process it all because it's not a huge deal, but it feels like a number I never thought our channel would reach in a month. 10 million views is absolutely mind-boggling, and I'm just so proud of us, all of us, because it's not just me that does the work and comes on. You guys spread the word. You've given us a chance yourselves. Come in. Maybe you've seen a clip of me. You thought I was a dickhead, and then you came in and watched. And 10 million views. I never thought I'd get that in my entire YouTube existence. But for us to have done it in a month, I just again want to say a huge thank you to everybody for that. It never stops to be mind-boggling when you see how we've grown as a channel and as a community, and it's incredible to me. It means so much. So, would you take Xavi Simons at Liverpool? 60% of you guys and girls said no, you would not take Xavi Simons at Liverpool. I've seen a lovely comment in the chat there as well from Tubby2504, said, we love you, mate. Thank you, bro. Appreciate that. Yeah, man, it's incredible. Like, how the hell has that happened? We're a little us. I remember the first time we hit 1 million views in a month doing tubby cartwheels. It's incredible. Oh, Chelsea have gone 1-0 up. Shit. I really wanted them to lose that game. I did. I didn't want them getting Champions League football. I still hope Forest can beat them, but of course they've gone 1-0 up. What are we in? That started at 8:30, didn't it? Was it 8:30 or 8:15 kickoff for that one? So 8:30, 9:15. Must be 10, 15 minutes into the second half now, is it? And it's Kukurea as well, of course, we're just speaking about, and then he goes and scores. And thank you to everyone saying congratulations and stuff, by the way. Thank you. I appreciate you all. I'm just trying to take in a few comments here as well. It works for other teams as well. We just all badmouth the Kukurea and he scored. It's nuts, isn't it? So let's have a chat for a moment about midfield. What are we expecting to happen in midfield this summer? Because we all know the positions we need. But midfield's probably an area that intrigues me the most. We know we've got Stefan coming back, who's had a good loan spell with Las Palmas. Tyler Morton will still be at the club. McConnell's still at the club. Gravenberch does need competition. Do we think somebody like an Angelo Stiller is a realistic link to Liverpool, or an Adam Wharton? Or do we think that that's guesswork? Because I really don't know what to expect there. Arne said that he's going to give Stefan pre-season. So do you then go and sign somebody? Or do you wait and see what he thinks? I mean, I'm confused by midfield. I don't know what to expect there. In an advanced position, look, Elliott may move on. But Endo, what happens with him? Does Endo stay? I don't know. There's been talk about a move back to Germany for him. Is he going to be happy with a minor role in the team as he gets to the latter part of his career? Maybe. None of us would want to lose him. But again, if we're talking about options that the manager wants to use week in and week out, I'm very intrigued to see what happens here in midfield. Because we can't go through a season where we play Gravenberch 50 games a season again. We do need somebody that can come in and rotate with them. Now, whether that is somebody who's already technically a Liverpool player or not, I'm absolutely open to. Steve Aldous, he said, I love that the channel is growing. You deserve it. Well done, Craig and Connor, too. Thank you. And look, a lot of the growth has been from Anfield Agenda shorts and stuff like that, which I guess from a numbers perspective is great. Income-wise, it doesn't really change anything. Shorts aren't you're never going to make a living making shorts, really, unless you're getting hundreds of millions of views a month. But it just gives our channel, again, another fresh set of eyes on it, and it's just been incredible to just be part of it over the last month. I'm so excited about coming over to Liverpool for the shows next week. I can't wait. Normally I'm really nervous about it, but I'm just excited because I know what I have in store. I'm going to celebrate with the Anfield Agenda community. We're going to sing along together. We're going to parade the Premier League trophy. We're going to take loads of pictures and have some fun. I'm so happy. I'm so happy to come over and see you all again. I can't wait. And to everyone that's got their tickets for the shows, thank you. You're going to just see me smirking from ear to ear for most of them because I'm just so excited by it. And Cork as well. Can't wait to get down to Cork in August. And it'd be lovely to meet up with the lads again as well. Myself, Connor, Chris, Jack, Steve together for one day. It's never happened before. And we're doing it in Liverpool together to celebrate the Reds winning the league. And massive thanks to those gents for being available on the evening to come down and share the stage with us as well. Steve said, I watch everything and use your streams to distract me while I work. Thank you, my man. Appreciate that. I'll never understand why anybody tunes in. Like, I think about it logically and I think, well, what have you got? You're not good looking. You're not particularly well connected in the football world. You don't have interviews with the players and managers and stuff. I don't get why people watch. I'll never understand it. But I'll always work hard to repay your faith and keep us moving forward. Craig's going to serenade everyone with the intro song. Yeah, a live version of it. It's Anfield Agenda. I think you can see it wasn't me that was singing that song. Yeah, it's going to be fun. I can't wait, honestly. I love going over to Liverpool and meeting everyone. Right. Okay, there's a super chat I missed. Sorry, I want to get back to them. I hate when I miss them, so let me scroll back up. Where was it? Okay, so let's go with this one from SDO. Kirkes versus Aitnuri versus Haddo versus Robinson. Who's best for the Reds? Kirkes. But I'll put it to a poll, mate, because it's a good idea for a poll. But Kirkes is the one for me. We don't have a poll running at the minute, do we? No, so let me get that one come. So let me put all those names in, because 4 very good shouts. Right, so let's put in these 4 names that you've said. Where are they? Okay. 1. Is Aitnuri N-O-U-R-I? Or have I added in an extra letter there? Is it N-O-U-R-I or is it N-O-R-I? Aitnuri. Somebody let me know in the chat there. Robinson and Hatto. Okay. Robinson. It is the U. Thank you, folks. Appreciate you. Right, so pick one for Liverpool to sign. Kirkes, Aitnuri, Robinson or Hatto. Really good question, by the way, so thank you for the suggestion. And let me get back to a couple of these super chats that I've missed. Okay, I've done that one. So Scott said, value can be good, but can also be code for cheap. Fair. But cheap isn't always bad. You know, cheap isn't always bad either. Robert, thank you for being with us for 18 months. My man said 10 million people live, you make better. You've earned it. I don't make anyone's life better, mate. Maybe I can help out with a bit of loneliness that we all feel on occasion, and I include myself in that. You know, this community certainly helped me out at times where I've been feeling very lonely and very low about life. The legend said, do you think there's any truth behind the rumours of Ronaldo returning to Sporting to replace Gyökeres where he originally started? I don't actually know, to be honest. I haven't seen the rumours. Is he injured or something at the minute? Because I'd seen that Al Nassr were playing today and he wasn't in the squad. I don't know, but look, I am a romanticist and I do love the idea of players going back to where it all started at the end of the careers like that. So if Alisson went back to Internacional or Ronaldo went back to Sporting, I kind of do love those type of stories. Off the post said, as good as Canade is, he concerns me. He is rash at times. He panicked under pressure. For me, I'd cash in. There are better options out there. I agree. I agree with everything you've written. I want him to stay, but if there's any doubt in his mind, I would sell. And I also agree with what you've written. He can be class, but he is prone to brain farts, if you want to call them that. Recently, I remember him being caught in possession completely unnecessarily. He also commits too many fouls for me as he gets too touch tight to people upfield. But for all of those things, there are the other things that I think he's improved on since he's coming to Liverpool. And, carrying the ball forward through the lines is one thing. His eye for a pass, I don't think we give him enough credit for, because I think Canade's really improved in that regard. And also, he just seems like a good dude, doesn't he? He's a really easy man to like, Ibrahima Canade. He just seems like a big, fun-loving, lovely fella. But again, the football club is the most important. And if a player is unsure that their future lies at Liverpool, then we should be making their mind up for them. Elmer, thank you. That means more to me than anything financially or anything else, mate. People think that I'm a decent human being is as an insecure man, that means a very, very lot to me, my man. Thank you. But it's the same back here for me with you guys. I've never known such a. I'm not been in many internet communities. I should say that firstly, but I usually stay away from a lot of the internet because the toxicity of it can be difficult. And I walked away from Twitter 3 years ago, and I'm not really on any social media. So I kind of thought the internet just wasn't for me until we created this community, and it's built over time. And I think of everybody each night as friends. I often wonder about the people who are sitting back watching who don't comment. And I want to thank them as well for their time, because I would be one of those people. I usually don't comment on stuff that I watch too much. But I've learned so much about life from you guys and girls as well. And I've been educated in a footballing perspective from people around, players who I didn't even know existed, that you guys have let me know to have a look out for and things like that. But my favourite part of the night is always just sitting back before the stream starts and watching people interact and the little in-jokes that they have and the welcome to each other each night and stuff like that. It makes these meetups so special as well when I get to put a face to a name and say thank you in person. We love you, keep it real, and how much you interact with us. Other channels don't even interact unless they get sent super chats. Again, can't speak for other channels, but I came into YouTube having never really been a YouTube viewer. So when we started, and I've told this story loads of times, when we started our very first streams, I didn't have an idea of what the norm was. I'd seen some Goldbridge clips, I'd seen some AFTV clips, I'd seen a few Redmen clips, but I never sat through live streams, so I didn't know how people go about their shows. For instance, most people would say to me, 45 minutes, Craig, that's how long a live stream should be. I think, no, not for me, I like it longer. But also, I came on and naturally, my instinct was to just reply to people as they put a comment in. Or, oh, new channel, who are you? Or stuff like that, in the early days. And it just became the done thing for me. And people might go, oh my God, he's answering, he's chatting with us. And I just thought, doesn't everyone do that? Because when I sit back and I look at other people, I can't do the monologues that they do. I couldn't hold your attention for that long without interacting with you. And it would feel rude of me to not interact with you. yeah, it's I prefer live content to pre-recorded stuff. I love being on the spot. I love knowing that one word in the wrong direction and it could all be over. But I also love knowing that you don't know who's watching and you never know what's around the corner. And some of my favourite nights have been the most stupid stuff. So Jurassic Gark, I don't know if anybody's with us long enough to remember that night. It was 5, 6 years ago, and it was one of my favourite scenes ever. The Brest night this season in the Champions League. Those moments and nights are ones that I often just chuckle to myself walking around the house thinking about, because it's the stupidity of it all that makes me love it so much, and the fact that we all allow our inner children to come out for those moments and giggle like school kids. It just makes me feel refreshed and young again. And that Jurassic Gark night in particular, I've never had so much fun. I was so sore from laughing after that stream. It was just brilliant. Itachi said, I'm here for 1.5 months now and I really enjoy your content. Also, I love this one community. It's a pleasure to be here with you all. Up the Reds and go for that 21. I think we can do it, you know. I think we can defend this Premier League title. And for a couple of reasons. One, of course, the window's going to have a big part to play with it. But remember, Manchester City and Chelsea have the Club World Cup. And that's going to impact the start of their season. And if it doesn't impact the start of the season, it could very well impact the end of it and when the fatigue kicks in. And that's if they don't pick up an injury or anything in there as well. So while they're away doing that and playing in the Club World Cup, we can still be operating behind the scenes, getting stuff done, talking with players. And I do think that will impact next season. So I'm thinking we need to make sure that we don't let Arsenal close that gap, or that we need to match whatever improvements they make, because they're going to come back and really, 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 like Arteta, I think his job is on the line next season. No trophy, and I think he gets the boot. So, yeah, I think we can do it. I really feel like there's a chance we can go back to back, and that would be the biggest achievement of them all for me, because I've not seen, as an adult, Liverpool defend a Premier League title. I've seen us win 2 now, so let's go and defend it next year and go further in the Champions League. But if we get the summer that we're all led to believe is possible, who knows? Who knows what the future has in store, because right now, we're not far away. We have a brilliant group of players, a really good coach, and hopefully a bright future. Having a debate in my football GC, and I'm curious to get some of more thoughts. Who's better in their prime, Salah or Mane? Personally, I think Mane. I think, how do I say this? I think Mane is a better overall footballer than Mohamed Salah, but I think Mohamed Salah is more important. So if I had to pick one, I'd pick Salah. But I do think, because I've been so blown away by the way Mohamed Salah has consistently shown what he can do, season in, season out. I think he's laser focused. The way he looks after himself and the way he deals with the pressure, I think it's amazing. But I think if you were to say, you know, you had your top trumps cards out and you were to list off individual things, I would say there are probably things individually that you'd score Mane higher in, but I'd still end up coming back to Mohamed Salah personally. But I love Mane at the club. Really enjoyed his time here. It's nice you build relationships in the chat. Yeah, it's great to see as well. It's great to see everybody getting along in the chat and getting to know each other. But good question on Mane and Salah. So let me know what you guys think. Who in their pump, at their best, do you think was a better player? Or I guess is a better player, because they're both still playing. So we've had 775 votes on pick a left back for Liverpool to sign. You've got 4 options: Kirkez Aitnuri, Anthony Robinson, or Jarell Hatto. Mo wants Champions League and said he can play till he's 39-40 at the top level. Yeah, look. Not going to say I wouldn't welcome a Champions League next season. Of course, I would. But defending it would stop any. There'd be no opposition fan banter at that point. You just have to say, well done. Liverpool deserved it again and move on with it. Yeah. So for me, any of them is fine, but one of the two big ones would be incredible. That would, I mean, it'd be an interesting conversation. At what point do we think we start comparing Arne Slot with Jurgen Klopp? Or do we ever? Because I think you look at it in two different ways. With Jurgen, you had somebody who had to come in and drag the club back up to where he and it wanted to be. And he did that. And he made it a more attractive place again to be. And like he said, he turned doubters into believers. So he took us to this point and then won the trophies that he did. But if Arne Slot then picked that up and let's say over the course of 4 or 5 years, picked up another Premier League, a European Cup, and a few domestic cups, it could be a very interesting conversation. I think Jurgen will always have our hearts, and I don't think anybody since Kenny Dalglish, maybe Rafa, would make that connection with fans as much. Craig, do you think Mane screwed up going to Saudi? Depends what the man wanted with his career. Like, I hate to call anybody money motivated because a lot of footballers come from a level of poverty that we'll never, ever, ever have to deal with. And they support people and change lives of communities. So I'll never judge anybody from a financial standpoint like that for running off to get the money. It's the fucking liars that I hate. The people that don't say I'm going for the money. Go for the money. Have at it. Koulibaly said it. I'm going for the money. Brilliant. Be you. Go get paid. Nothing wrong with it. But it's the ones that try to make out like, oh, well, I'm not going for the money. I'm going to grow the game. The Jordan Hendersons of this world that I can't stomach. But yeah, let's go back through the comments about who people thought was better between the two of them. Itachi said Mo better than Sadio. Tanya said Mo. Salah for Michael Dunstan as well. I don't disbelieve Mo. Do you think Mane screwed up? We've done that one. Craig, we have a poll, last one, if you've got time, in a midfielder, we would sign someone we already have. Yeah, well, we'll see if we have time for it, my man. I'm just checking some incoming news here. Okay. Cool. Right, let me get this comment up. Hope Lucho scores more goals this season. I think he deserves it. By the way, I made a spud with beans and cheese and tuna. You had me until the tuna, bro. You lost me at the tuna. I'm not a mad baked potato fan either. Do I lose my Irish card for that? But yeah, I'm not a big baked potato person. My wife loves them, but not so much for me. Is Salah's legacy better than Gerrard's? Depends how you look at it. Gerrard's Roy of the Rovers. Nobody's ever going to touch him to me. I can say that much to you. For me, Steven Gerrard is the closest thing to a god. So I would say no. But let me say, of the non-homegrown players, he'd be at the tippity top. Not from the British Isles or Ireland. He would be the best to have done it outside of somebody from England, Ireland, Scotland, Northern Ireland, Wales. It would be Mo, to me, at the very top. Don't know if others feel the same, but that would be the way I tried to summarise it. Gerrard has our heart as the local lad who came through, pretty much a one-club man, and brought the team to trophies that we wouldn't have had if he wasn't there. And you can make that same argument for Mohamed Salah. And if you look back at some of the teams Gerrard has played in, well, they were hardly shabby, were they? Some of them, Mascherano, Alonso, Momo Sissoko. Some good teams there with some good players in them. But I just can't get anybody past EVG for me. Right, so let's check in on this poll. We only need 20 more votes now. We said pick one left back for Liverpool to sign. Kirkes, Aitnuri, Robinson or Hatto. We are almost there. I'll leave this open actually so we can finish it when it does hit the required amount. I will get back to 2 seconds, Nathan. 1 second. I'll get back to your question about homegrown in 1 second, my man. Only need 3 more votes, 2 more votes. There we go. Right, so with 85% of the vote, Milos Kerkez was the left back that you guys decided you wanted to bring in. So, Nathan said, Craig, when you're talking about Frimpong, you mentioned that UEFA classism was homegrown. What does that mean? So, every club has to have, they can have a maximum, of 17 overseas players in their squad. And overseas players means one that weren't born in or trained at a club for 3 years under the age of 18. So Liverpool last year had 7 players that would be classed as homegrown. If you want to have a full 25 complement squad, you can have a maximum of 17 non-homegrown players and 8 homegrown players. So what makes you a homegrown player is obviously being born in the British Isles or spending 3 years before the age of 18 in an English academy. So that's why with the 9 years that Frimpong spent at Manchester City, he's included as homegrown. Ironically, Andy Robertson doesn't count as homegrown because he didn't have enough time before the age of 18 or 21 or whatever it was at the time. So that's what we mean by homegrown. You have to have no more than 17 overseas or non-national players in your team, and you can top that up with up to 8. And that's if you do want to have the full 25-man squad. Now, you can always supplement that with academy and youth products as well, but a homegrown is what they're doing. Look, the idea behind it is to try and protect the national teams. So England want to make sure that there's always an opportunity for young English players or Scottish players or Welsh players to come through and get an opportunity, and that you're not going out to look for cheaper foreign alternatives, as an example. So that's what we mean. 3 years in an academy system under the age of 18 or to be born on the British Isles. So 50 ping Skiller said, Salah said in his last interview that Trent deserves to go where he wants after spending 20 years at the club, which I only agree with if it wasn't free. Look, I'm going to say about Mohamed Salah in this situation, and I was hoping to avoid talking about this tonight, but you've brought it up, mate, and I can't not address it. So yeah, Mo said he thinks that Trent shouldn't have been booed. He thinks that what Trent has given to the football club over 20 years, that he should have been shown more respect on that. And I respect his opinion on it, the same as I've respected everybody else's opinion on it. But for me, I just can't get away from feeling that he didn't go about it in the best way, and that he didn't go about it in the way that was most upfront and honest. So for me, not here to tell people whether to boo or not, but for me, I just turn my back on Trent. Doesn't exist to me at this point. And I respect Mo's opinion on it. And it's different when you're inside the dressing room because they know him so much better. Like, they train with him every single day. They travel together. They work together. They socialise maybe together on occasion. And of course, Trent has been really good with Mo on that right-hand side for Liverpool. So I fully respect what Mo said and his opinion on it. I would just be of a different mindset. I wouldn't have booed, like I've said, but I would have ignored him. I wouldn't be applauding him or, I feel salty about it. I can't speak for everyone else, but I do. I feel salty about the way he went about it. In an alternative universe, Gerrard plays with Maka in midfield and Suarez on the left wing with Salah on the right wing. Striker prime Torres, just imagine for a second. Yeah, with Javier Mascherano sitting deeper as well. Or Xavi Alonso. Oh, God, imagine Mascherano, Gerrard and Maka in the midfield, or Alonso, Maka and Gerrard in the midfield. That would be just filth. I often daydream about what it would have been like if Fernando Torres stayed and we signed Luis Suarez, and that was the plan, was to have both of those. Imagine we got even a season with Fernando Torres and Luis Suarez together. That would have been incredible. With Trent, it's not so much he's leaving, it's how he handled it all. Some people think he handled it really well. I mean, I was listening to Stephen Warnock and some others talking about it, and they felt like he handled the situation very well. What I do feel comfortable saying, I guess, in support of Trent is, I don't think there were many times I felt like he's down tools. Or there was one or two occasions, like the United game and maybe one more, that I certainly felt like his mind wasn't at it. But I do think he continued to show up, continued to train. But I can't help but feel he manipulated the situation. And for that, I feel a bit salty about it. But ultimately, he'll be a Real Madrid player next season. So I hope that I hope he wins nothing over there with him. Absolutely nothing. So Chelsea have won. That one's over, is it? So that means it's going to come down to Forest game. If Forest come in this weekend, what a game that's going to be at the City Ground between Chelsea and Forest. Sean Handley said, if you love the club so much and you don't leave for free and don't help your boyhood club with some money. That's my thought process on it. Or at least be upfront. Like, again, Paddy Pimblett, I keep coming back to him because, you know, he's a scouser, so I feel like he has more of a on the money take on these things to me because he's born and bred in the city of Liverpool. But he said even the farewell video was just bullshit, reading off a teleprompter with zero emotion in it. And I felt like that when I seen it as well. But, you know, each to their own. Some people think there's no such thing as not respect or loyalty in football. Some people think that fans should only ever support a player on a team, no matter what happens. I'm not of that mindset. I think that, you know, you're with us till you're not with us. And when you're not with us, you're fair game. Top 5 race is really interesting. What's the latest with Rodrigo and WIRTZ? I don't really see the Rodrigo thing having too much truth to it, but many reports have suggested that Liverpool are interested, and we know that Madrid are willing to sell. But I just don't see or want us to be lining Madrid's pockets with €100 million, especially if they're going to try to use that money to make a move for WIRTZ or another player. I don't want us to be giving Madrid the ability to shithouse us anymore. So for me, if we lose out on WIRTZ, I would stay clear of Rodrigo as much as I would have liked him at the football club. I just can't get away from the hatred of Madrid and not wanting to line their pockets. Right, I'm going to ask one more question. We've got 10 minutes left. Let me just get this poll up because I really am interested to know what you think on this. Okay. Is Kwanzaa good enough to stay at Liverpool? Honest answer is yes or no. Do vote away on that one and let me know. Really am intrigued to see how you feel about this one. Because, well, I'll give you my take later, but I'm intrigued to see how everybody feels about it. Because I think it's another one of these that I'm expecting it to be a close vote, but I've been very, very wrong in the past. Do you think Real Sociedad could beat Chelsea in the final? Betis, you mean? It's Real Betis. They're playing in the final. Do I think they could beat Chelsea? Probably not. Not if Chelsea show up. They're a decent side, Betis, but no, Chelsea should be winning that comfortably. Craig, do you have a fantasy team? And if so, did you do well? Do I have a fantasy team? Yes. Did I do well? No, I never do. Always lower middle half of the table me on FPL. And I'd like to say, Ash, it's because I don't take it seriously, but I pretty much do. And I'm just very stubborn in the players that I pick. So, yeah, always do it, but never do well. Hypothetical, swap Canade for Rodrigo. Well, there would have to be money involved in that as well, Wesley, because with 1 year to go on his contract, what's Canade's value? 50 million, 40, 50 million, but 1 year to go maybe. But would I include it in a potential deal? I guess it would solve a problem if Konate didn't want to stay, and it would mean we didn't get him for free. But I think, again, Madrid are going to be in his ear wanting him to run down his contract. Ash said if it was purely based on this season, I'd say no. Based on his first season, it would have been a genuine yes, so I'm 50-50. Yeah, sorry, I'm stumbling over my words here. For me, the fact that he hasn't progressed this season, and I feel like he's regressed, is why I would say I would be in the sell camp on Kwanzaa. I don't think if Konate had a knee injury that kept him out for 4 months, that we're going to be competitive enough with Kwanzaa alongside Virgil. I just don't see it. I really, really don't. I feel like he hasn't kicked on from last season. That's the deciding factor for me in this debate. So for me, I would be a seller for Kwanzaa. Asantino said, what's your take on Gyökeres? Is he good enough if you get a WIRTZ? Is he good enough? Look, the argument about whether he's good enough or not is up in the air. And it's one that it's going to be an intriguing one to sit back and find out. But I won't lie, mate. I'm glad we're not the ones taking a punt on him. He's 27 now as well, I think. And he is an unproven quantity in a big league. Portuguese league, we've seen Darwin put up big numbers over there. But for what it's worth, I think he's far more consistent than Darwin Núñez. And it'll be interesting to see what type of numbers he does do if that move to Arsenal happens. But I wouldn't want him at Liverpool, to be honest. I wouldn't. I feel like there are better options out there. Ashton Ratcliffe said, do you think Lamine Yamal will reach Messi level? Oh God, I don't know. I don't know, mate. I don't know. I really don't know. He has the ability to potentially do it, but yeah, Leo Messi to me is the second greatest player to ever lace up a pair of football boots, in my opinion, and it will take a lot for anybody to equal or come on par with Leo Messi. But the kid has it all, and he's a joy to watch. Centre-back shortage, Kwanzaa should be a swap deal, said Tanya. Hugo Santos said Kwanzaa is protected by the homegrown quota. I'd sell Gomez also, said Colin Brooks, injury prone. Colin Brooks said no more chancers if you don't support the squad by playing, should sell. Petter said, Craig, we're getting top 5, aren't we? Well, it'll come down to whether you beat Forest or not, or whether you draw with Forest, I think. I think that it's all on that last game now. If Forest win the game this weekend, mate, that's what it comes down to. And it's not going to be easy going to the City ground, not with those fans. So, I don't know, mate. I know you don't want to hear this, Petter, but I hope you don't get it. I don't want Chelsea in the Champions League, but you're certainly in a good place to do it. Jadon Sancho is celebrating with the Chelsea squad. It's going to be awkward if Chelsea pay the 5 million to send him back to United. Do you think they will? No, I think they'll probably think they can flip him and make some money. So I think they'll buy him, maybe loan him and then sell him. But I don't think they pay the money to send back to United, because I think they probably could turn a little profit there on him. Especially if, let's say, Dortmund open the door for a move back from if they move on a couple of players or something. I'm not selling Gomez until he scores for us. Nice. Yes, that would be lovely. Let's check in on our poll. We've got about 5 minutes left on the stream. So, question is Jarell Kwanzaa good enough to stay at Liverpool? And for what it's worth, it's a pretty one-sided vote so far, but we'll leave it run for the last few minutes and see what everyone thinks. Again, if you weren't with us earlier on when we showed you what we think the away kit is going to be next season, it is this here. That's the one that's been doing the rounds. Not really a fan of the shield and the way it's done on that shirt, to be honest with you. And also hope that the fact that those reds are two different colours is just the lights in the background and not really the actual shirt. But for me, that one is I'd pass on that shirt. Petter said, Craig, I've watched Kwanzaa. I think he can be a good centre-back, so I think he's good for third or fourth or fifth choice. Maybe a loan if you have enough. We definitely don't have enough. We're short at centre-back as it is. We haven't replaced Joel Matip. We haven't replaced Joel Matip. So, yeah, I don't think we have the luxury of a loan. I think it would have to be a sale or a keep for me, one or the other. Yamal is doing this stuff as a teenager and having fun. Imagine when he matures and gets into his mid-20s. It depends, though. Some players, when they lose some explosiveness, aren't the same. So it's hard to know what a player's career will be. I don't think he'll have the longevity of a Leo Messi because he's come through this early in his career. I can't see him still playing in his mid-30s as an example at the level. But what a joy it is to watch Lamine Yamal play football. Right, look, ladies and gents, we've got a few minutes left to go. A couple of favours if I can. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, please do. If you haven't liked the stream, again, please do that. Anthony Gordon said, Luke, Anthony in the chat, I'm telling you, maybe. You know, it wouldn't be... If Diaz moves on, then there's certainly a conversation to be had about another left-sided player. But if Diaz renews his contract, then I think Diaz, happy days. I don't want to be moving him on. I really like Lucho. Roger Rabbit said, if West Ham and Wolves win their next game, United can't finish above 16th. That is crazy, isn't it? To see how low down the table they are is absolutely ridiculous how many games of football they've lost this season. What is your most memorable Darwin miss? God, most memorable miss for Darwin. So I'm gonna look. I have a memory like a goldfish, mate. Honestly, I can't remember off the top of my head. There's been a couple from 4 or 5 yards out that have baffled me. I can't think of one particular one that stands out to me off the top of my head. So I'm gonna have to defer to the chat for some shouts on this one. Villa game, Michael said, was the first shout there. No problem, Ian. No problem. I'll keep a lookout for that email, Ian. Got to be when he hit the post and the ball flew back for Gakpo to finish. The Villa miss, said Corrin. Penalty off the post, said Reformed. Aston Villa away was disgusting, said Alfonso. Billy Beckner said Aston Villa as well. Sam Lewis said the miss when he goes around the defender and keeper and misses. Yeah. Shelley Morris, thank you for that very kind comment. Really appreciate you. Right, let's have a look at the vote. We need 200 more votes to get to 1,000. So really quickly, if you haven't voted, do vote on this poll because I really want to know your thoughts on it. Is Jarell Quansah good enough to stay at Liverpool? Let's see if we can get up to the 1,000 votes in the last couple of minutes before we head off. It's for me, this is a very interesting one because I thought it was going to be a little bit closer than it has been so far. So do vote if you haven't done so. Right, Ajax miss. Kickstarted all. Bobby Firmino was in disbelief, said Ash. Open net against Aston Villa, said Wesley. Kev said, thanks again for a chat tonight, Craig. Everyone needs a day off, though, so I'll see you Sunday. Yeah, definitely need a day off tomorrow. My voice, I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's really strained at the minute. It genuinely hurts to talk, so I'm going to record the late night news roundup, and then I'm going to rest up. I'm not even going to put out any content tomorrow. The preview is recorded already, so that'll be coming out in the morning for the Brighton game. But other than that, you won't be seeing sight nor sound of me tomorrow because the voice needs a rest. Right, we only need about 150 more votes. I feel like we got to get this up to 1,000 votes, folks, before we call it a night. So do, if you can, real quick, just click in and have a vote on that poll for us. Tanya said, Sunderland or Sheffield United? I definitely want Sunderland to come up over Sheffield United. Definitely. It just feels so romantic, the idea of Sunderland coming back up. With everything that they've been through, with all the documentaries and stuff, I definitely want Sunderland to come up. I do. I can't lie. Nothing against Sheffield United whatsoever, but I would prefer Sunderland came up. And I'd like to see Charlton win the other playoff as well, the one against Leyton Orient. Neil Thompson said, just putting it out there, Leverkusen striker Schick, plenty of assists from Frimpong, plus he was a nightmare for a defence. Thoughts? He's a decent player. I'd seen Guirassi's name linked actually. Apparently, he's 29 though, so he's a little bit old, but apparently his future could be up in the air as well. Hasn't been a great season there for them, so his name is up in the mix as well. Michael, thank you, my man. Appreciate you. Said, love you, Craig. Thank you for tonight's stream. Mate, always a pleasure. Proud to be here with you guys. 100 votes to go. Real quick, lads. Come on, we need one more 100 votes and then we can call it a night. I feel like it's not a valid poll if we don't get it up to the 1,000 votes. It gives us a better sample size in my warped little mind. Sheffield United are just boring. Same shite every time, said Corrin. They scored a hat load of goals, though, in the playoff semis. Will we get a watch-along of any of the European finals? Well, for your one, I'm going to be on stage in Liverpool when the Conference League final is on, so no for that one. Probably not. I'm probably just going to be an interested observer and watch them as a neutral, to be honest with you, Peter. But for your one, yeah, as I said, I'll be on stage in Liverpool that night, so won't be able to watch it. Right, 80 votes left to go. And again, if you can hit the like button as well, much appreciated. John, thank you, man, but there'll be no Craig babies, mate. Remember, I've had the snip, so there'll be no Craig babies in the future. We don't need more mini-me's running around the world anyway. What's this? Okay, we've already done that one. Right, 30. We're nearly there. We're inching closer with the poll. Come on now. 60 to go. I feel like a bidder in an auction here, or an auctioneer trying to get the bidding going. 55 to go. Come on, we can get there. Keep voting. I'm Ron said, wish we had someone like Desiree Douay. He's a really good player, isn't he? Vasectomy, yes, that's the one, my man. Yes, had that done after we fell pregnant with after my wife fell pregnant with our second child. I knew I only wanted 2 kids and that was it. I'm an only child, so I never wanted an only child. So as soon as we knew we were having our second, that was it for me. I was off to the vets, shall we say. 25 to go, 23 to go. Go on. You know you want to. 20 to go. We're inching there bit by bit. 15, 10, 6, 5. Come on. Nearly there. 999. Yes, you legends. Love it. Well played, folks. Thank you. That would have really bugged me if we didn't get it. So, 61% of people say no, that they don't think Kwanzaa is good enough. 39% saying yes. And it closed a little bit at the end. At the start, it was wider. It was about 68-32. But ultimately, slightly more people feel that Kwanzaa isn't of the standard. And I appreciate your honesty and appreciate your input as always. Have yourselves a wonderful Saturday. I'll catch up with you all on Sunday night. Enjoy the weekend and much love as always.